I'm so excited. What is going on, guys and gals of YouTube? Thanks again for coming back to my channel, and I am so excited, as you probably saw from that creepy intro. But the reason I'm excited, as you guys probably already know, I've been doing the keto lifestyle. I say lifestyle because it really is a lifestyle. You can do it as a temporary diet if you really want to, but there's really no point because it is a complete metabolic change. So in my opinion, if you're going to do one or the other, probably should stick with it at least fairly long term. We'll get into that in another video, but the reason why I'm excited is because when it comes to keto, there hasn't been a lot of options as far as like protein powders that are super keto friendly. Any kind of a whey isolate would typically be the most keto friendly, just because it's going to have less of effect on our insulin levels. But there hasn't been a whole lot until recently. There have been some companies that started coming out with stuff that they kind of advertise more as keto. Some of them have been pretty cool. Some of them, I feel like they kind of jumped on the keto bandwagon without researching more of what is actually needed on a ketogenic diet. So I was super excited when I saw that one of my favorite supplement companies, no, I am not sponsored by them, wink wink nudge nudge, if y'all want to Purus Labs, hit me up, just saying. But Purus Labs has been one of my favorite supplement companies for a good while, just because I'm a science nerd. They're all about science with the ingredients, and they recently came out with their keto feed. This one, I like the fact that they really took time and effort in putting something together that's going to be beneficial on a ketogenic diet. There are lots of people, if you research keto stuff, that will say do not do a whey protein powder on the keto diet because you don't want to have way too much protein in your diet. It'll knock you out of ketosis. Whey is awful for ketosis. You'll hear all these different things. There are some people who even do, lactose-free keto because they feel like even the whey and cheese is too much for them. For me personally, I've done great with having a little bit higher protein count than some might want to do on keto. I still make sure that my fat is still my higher amount as far as percentage-wise, but I take protein powder and I take a whey isolate since I've been on keto and have been perfectly fine with it. This one, however, though, there's no more excuses. So I'm going to kind of read off some of the information here. Also, guys, I don't know if you noticed this, but look at this flavor. I don't know if I can get that on camera here. It's the essentially the Samoa Girl Scout cookies, which is my second favorite Girl Scout cookie. I'm all about the peanut butter ones. Sorry I don't know the names. Obviously they're not that much of a favorite, but the Samoas have been one of my other favorites, and obviously since being on keto, can't really have the Girl Scout cookies. Still try to support the troops, but got to give those away to family. So now, if I feel like I want a Girl Scout cookie, rather than having to wait for a refeed day or feel like I'm going to cheat, I can have the keto feed. So, what we got here, I'll put an image on the screen for y'all. So, calories per serving, we have 170 calories, total fat 10 grams, cholesterol 35, carbs for this one, it is one carbohydrate, not a huge deal. They also did send me a flavor. I got a flavor. This one is vanilla caramel. This one is 0 carbs. One carb isn't going to hurt you. 0 sugars, 20 grams of protein, and then of course you'll see on the screen we've got some of the other stuff in there. So more important thing that I like to look at is on the ingredients. Macronutrients are definitely one of the first things that we want to look at to make sure something's going to fit within our diet, but we need to always look at ingredients. And from other proteins in the past, other ones that have been advertised as ketogenic friendly, that's where I usually start to come into some trouble. Now, you can be a keto snob and say that if it doesn't have XYZ, I don't want it, or if it has this specific thing, then I don't want it, or I'm not going to take that because it's a supplement and I'm only going to eat whole foods. Do whatever makes you happy, but when I saw the ingredients on this, I was a little giddy. There are a couple things that I might change if I was the one that was designing it, but overall, we got whey protein isolate. So that's first and foremost, most important thing. The fact that they're using the isolate, not just a standard whey, concentrated whey, casein. You want to have that isolate if you're doing. So we got whey protein isolate. We have medium chain triglyceride powder, which is your MCT oils basically. That is from palm kernel and coconut oil. We've got sodium caseinate. We've got 2% or less of the following, which is your typical silicon dioxide, sunflower lectin, alkalized cocoa, natural artificial flavor, different blends. The other one that I usually see where people get in a hissy fit is the sweetener used is sucralose. Keep in mind, again, we already said that it's 2% or less of the following, so it's very little sucralose in there. You got to have at least a little something to make it sweet. Guys, sucralose is not anti-keto. I don't know why some people have started saying that that's going to knock you out of ketosis. I guess if you were downing a ton of it, then yeah, it might be. But in all reality, sucralose, I want to say has 0 on the glycemic index. There have been studies done. The only study that I saw where sucralose really spiked up somebody's insulin is when they were still eating carbohydrates. So they didn't really do a control of just sucralose to see how it would affect that. Again, I don't know why people think that sucralose is anti-keto. Obviously, stevia is more natural and healthy. Erythritol is even better, but honestly, sucralose, not a big deal. Stop freaking out just because you see sucralose on something. When sucralose is combined with thickening agents, when we're saying thickening agents, that's the part that you want to avoid. Because, for example, even stevia, I've seen where they'll, if you look at the back of a certain stevia product packet, it'll say ingredients, stevia, maltodextrin, or some other kind of sweetener, some other kind of fake sugar essentially that's actually worse than regular sugar and still has a high glycemic index. That's what you want to avoid when they're adding these thickening agents, because they want to cheap out and produce something lesser quality and advertise it as something better. This doesn't have that. So just having that sucralose in there is not going to be the end of the world. This is actually going to be probably the best thing. The only other thing they could probably have added in there instead would have been either a stevia, but then you get sometimes a kind of a funny aftertaste, or erythritol, but erythritol doesn't really blend very well. So when you're talking about a protein powder, and we'll get into it in a second here as far as how well this mixes, but if you add erythritol in there, it's probably not going to mix very well. It might be a little chunky. Alright, so getting into this bad boy here, I don't know how well I'm going to be able to get some of this on camera, but I mean, just super, what's the word I'm looking for, like micronized as far as with it being puffy and powdery, and I mean, this stuff mixes super well. I've already had, since I got this, I've already had 2 shakes worth of it. Tastes amazing, even with water, which has been a big thing for me, because I usually have to use like an almond milk with a lot of shakes, because the water, certain protein powders just taste weird with just water. This one I did with just water because it's all I had at the time at the gym, and it tastes amazing. I haven't tried the vanilla one yet, just because I didn't want to open both of them at the same time, because I'm weird like that, and this is, I already knew it was going to be a flavor that I would probably like a little bit better than the vanilla one, just because I like the cookies. So yeah, it's been absolutely awesome. 0 net carbs, 0 dyes or fillers, low glycemic index, you got your 10 grams of fat, you got your MCT oil. Now, some people will say, well, hey, it doesn't have beta-hydroxybutyrate. I want to have beta-hydroxybutyrate. As you've probably, if you've been watching some of my videos, know, beta-hydroxybutyrate is not going to put you in ketosis. Beta-hydroxybutyrate or BHB or ketone salts are good on their own to kind of help give you some energy. The equivalent that taking caffeine will give you energy. Beta-hydroxybutyrate will give you a cleaner energy source, but it is not necessarily synonymous with ketones. It's not the same thing. Don't think that you have to spend tons and tons and tons of money on something that has BHB or ketone salts in it because, oh, that's keto, that's going to put me into ketosis. Sorry guys, didn't mean to go off on a tirade there, but seriously, check it out, the Purus Labs keto feed. I'll put a link in the description. Again, I'm not sponsored by them, so I don't have any discount codes for you or anything. Maybe next time, we'll see. But comment below, what is your favorite protein on keto. And if it's going to be a steak, then say steak. If it's bacon, say bacon. But do you have a particular alternative that you like, such as a protein powder? Do you have any questions when it comes to keto or even any other health and diet stuff? Let me know in the comments below. Guys, and as always, initiate, dedicate, decimate.